Okay, well, welcome everybody to our Young Professionals Network Personal Branding Workshop. I want to just quickly introduce who our speakers are going to be this evening. So if you want to take a couple minutes to introduce yourself, we'll start with Tamika Smith.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tamika Smith, the owner of Tamieka Smith Photography. I help all of you beautiful business people and entrepreneurs create a beautiful portrait that you would love to share on your website, social medias, and other platforms that you're using to advertise yourself and your business.
Awesome. Thank you, Tamika. And we'll go over to Bobbe Joy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bobbe Joy Dawson, although my professional name is Bobbe Joy. I was a makeup artist in Beverly Hills for 50 years. I did 20 years of television, film, print, commercials, and all of that stuff. So I'm pretty familiar with headshots and anything that has to do with photo stuff, photography, video, and all of that. I now I'm retired, but I still have a new book out called Raising Eyebrows. And so I have stuff in there that you will want to know about. So we will talk about it later.
Awesome. Welcome, Bobbe. And Nikola.
Hi, guys. I'm a brand designer. I'm a founder of a company called Designer and Gentleman. We are providing different branding services for both for companies and for people, for all those who want to establish to make a differentiation in their field, in their space. We help them to establish their own brand, applying basically the same principles we are providing for the companies.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for taking the time out to speak to us this evening. So just to give you a little context of where this came from, we had a Young Professionals Network committee meeting, and we were talking about the importance, especially now during COVID, to have a strong personal brand and online presence. And so we started thinking a lot of people probably don't know exactly what goes into that. So we thought we can bring these experts in to convey some of these ideas and bring in their professional experience to the conversation. So we'll get this kicked off. I will start with everybody. So if we want to start, we'll go in reverse order. We'll start with Nikola. What is your definition of personal brand?
Yeah, that's a perfect question. So as I said, like we are applying the same principles we are providing to the companies so people can establish their personal brand. So if you think about the brand, how do you know like we have been established a brand? Establishing a brand means that we create a setup of standards that we are going to follow and apply in the different territories and the touch points so we can communicate with the outside world. Think about like if you go to Europe and you want to buy a coffee, right? Let's say you're in Paris. If you go to Starbucks, you will know what you can expect. Why? This is because they're established a standard. This is how they're making coffee, deliver, serve. You know what to expect. This is a whole experience. Knowing that, we are applying, as I said, same principles into establishing like personal brand. And what I mean by that, first we think about or do the research, who are you working with, who is your ideal customer, and we can create your personal logo. Sometimes it's like a unique logo design, sometimes it's a signature. We are defining all that, logo, colors, typography, fonts, imagery, and headshots, and USP, unique selling proposition, what makes you stand out for your competitors, tagline. And so doesn't matter, no matter what your business is in, no matter what state of your business is, or you're in, or you want to transfer, you want to publish a book, you want to start doing a course, you want to start selling more, you want to gain with more customers and so on, we help you out. We can help you out to create like the perfect platform and apply all this, having all these digital assets basically, and both for printing technology as well, so you can use it. Now, as Nick was saying, like during this COVID, people are more engaged in digital more than ever. So we can create like a digital assets covering all the territories, like all the social media, YouTube cover, strategy for YouTube, banners, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're active on, wherever you can find your ideal customer, email signature, and so on. The list goes on. So let me just share something like real quick. I'm going to share my screen now. And I'm going to show you something that is like perfect example for like personal branding. This is one of our portfolio decks. Okay, so this is like the perfect example of personal branding that I created for the guy called Ray Perez. He's an amazing guy, entrepreneur. He helps other entrepreneurs to establish their business and to stand out. So basically what we see right here is all the digital assets that he's using: a credibility card, digital business card, email signature, even banners, digital banners, Facebook cover, Instagram, not Instagram, sorry, that was a profile, YouTube, and so on. So having all these assets, you are eligible to like approach and make a great connection with all your potential customers and clients. And there is one more thing regarding the, when I mentioned like a logo design, I established a digital service called Perfect Logo Package. And what we do, we create a logo package ideal in the different file extensions, colors, sizes, everything that you can use for different social media or digital and print production. So basically it's like 360, like the full package of what we can offer, and it's good for you to have so you can make an impact on the market.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Nikola. And so Bobbe Joy, how about for you? What does personal brand mean?
Well, I think first of all, it's what's the message that you want to send? What's the message that you want to get across to whomever it is that you're looking to either get a job from, you know, or start a business or whatever. And also, you want people to see you and remember you. So there has to be something within that that makes them attracted to you in some way. And I think the background, that's something I'm sure Tamika will talk about, is the backgrounds for things like that. As far as promoting yourself and looking your best, I think it's very, very important that people realize, whether it's a photo shoot or whether it's a Zoom meeting, that you can't look like you just woke up and put your, left your pajamas on. I mean, you really have to present yourself the way in which you want people. I mean, if you're particularly like you're a lawyer or a doctor or some professional type person, you want to dress and do your makeup and your hair in a way that gives you that professional look. But if you are more of an artsy kind of person like I am, you can have a little bit more fun, I would say, with maybe with your, your clothes, although you don't want to get clowny or anything like that. You don't want people to start looking at what you're wearing as opposed to looking at who you are. So I think that's very important. I have a really quick story that I want to tell. When I was working in television and film and all of that, I got called to do a photo shoot for a celebrity. She was kind of beginning celebrity, country music singer. And I met with her, and the record company wanted us to do, to bring her up to date. And she looked very hooky, very, typical country music, big hair, and, not such good makeup and all of that. So I sat her down and I did her makeup, and we rebranded her completely so that she was able to become a crossover artist as well. And she her name was, I don't know if any of you know, if you're old enough to know, Barbara Mandrell, but she was country music singer of the year for years and years. She was, entertainer of the year and all of that. And she crossed over to all different areas because of the way in which we created a look and a brand for her. So I think that that's extremely important. Now, I just want to say one thing, because I know that Tamika's probably going to talk about this too, but I wanted to talk about makeup for just a second, because when you're on screen, especially when you're on a Zoom, depending on what the lighting is, I mean, you can look really horrible and really old and really yucky, and so you have to understand that makeup is very important. You don't want to look like a hooker. You don't want to do Kim Kardashian. You're not going to go on YouTube and follow that. You want to find the professionalism within whatever the job is with the person that you're trying to show. So in my book that I talk about, I just want you to know that one of the things that was really important to me, being that I was a makeup artist for so long, was 3 chapters of this book is how to do your makeup. So in COVID right now, while you can't go and have somebody else breathing on you, this might be something that you might want to do. So anyway, I just think that it's very important that when all is said and done, that you look like the photo that you're presenting to the world, so that when you go there, like when you're on a date and you put it on the dating site and then they meet you and you don't look anything like that, it's very important that you do that. I think I'm going to give it to Tamika to finish that.
Oh, you turned it over for me to finish?
I did. I turned it over to you. Yeah.
You put out so many good nuggets, like you don't want to look like a clown, and you don't want to look hookerish. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so funny.
Well, we see that.
But they're all true. I co-sign on all of it.
Okay.
But for me, branding is representing, letting people know what you represent. So it comes down to your clothing, how you look, your makeup or your lack of makeup, your lighting, all of that plays into the overall image of what you want your potential clients to see. So if you have a lot of makeup on, then, it might be one of those, okay, well, what do they do? Are they a makeup artist? Or if you have books behind you, are they a lawyer? Are they some kind of business professional? So all of that plays into your overall headshot. And lighting is very important. You want to be in a type of atmosphere where there's not a lot of shadows or a lot of wrinkles on your face. And I know for women, that is a big thing. We don't want the wrinkles, please, no wrinkles. So all of that plays into your branding and what you want your client to see, and to what type of vision you want them to get when they look at you. Like, what kind of service will you provide them? Are you friendly? Are you angry? Are you serious? Are you funny? Are you like, what do you want them to get from your photo? So that's for me, branding is all about what do you want them to see when they look at your photo.
Such great advice from all of you. Thank you. So I'm going to stick with Tamika here, because somewhat of the genesis of this discussion was, what is the importance of a headshot? And then if you want to follow up the importance of a headshot with, then what can the different what kind of styles can you go with a headshot? I know you were talking about it. Do you have books behind you or something else? Tell us a little bit about that and what goes into your process for a headshot.
So I would say headshots are extremely important, especially now with everything being on Zoom. If you're not having your camera on, then a lot of people have their photo displayed. So what does your photo say about you when you don't have your camera on? Does it say, ooh, I want to meet that person? Or does it say, ooh, who is that person? So it says a lot. And then your photo could be friendly. It could be serious, like we had mentioned before. It could be warm. It could be inviting. It could be a lot of different things. And then as far as the experience with me, I kind of want to learn who you are as a person and what do you want your client to see when they look at your picture. Do you want them to see your fun and bubbly personality, or do you want them to take you seriously? So based on that conversation, we can talk about what you would wear, how you would pose, what color backdrop you want. Do you want like a white backdrop, or do you want like a gray? So white could be anything. Gray could be serious or professional. So all of that plays into your overall look and the intention that you want your portrait to display.
Okay, great. And is that typically something that you do in one session or multiple sessions?
So I do multiple. It could be like the first one could be a phone call just to kind of get an idea of how your personality is. And usually when people get around me, even if they say they're serious, because I like to laugh and I like to have fun. So most of the time when people get around me, they kind of just like forget all about the seriousness. And then they start to laughing. And then I said, well, why are you looking so serious? Can we see some teeth? Let the teeth be free. And as soon as I say that, people start laughing. They're like, is she really serious? And I'm like, okay, they're not free yet. And then they start smiling. So all of that goes into the consultation. And then once the consultation is over, then we schedule the actual portrait session. And then that's when the photos are taken.
Okay, great. And I didn't discuss this one with you ahead of time, but just came to me. How often would you recommend then updating your headshot so it doesn't look out of date, or so it does keep up with your natural aging process?
Mm-hmm. So I usually tell people do it at least every year to a year and a half, unless you've had like a big dramatic hair change or you have had a significant weight loss or something like that, then definitely change it. Anytime you look different than what you look like in your photo, then it's time to consider an update.
Awesome, great advice. It might be time for me to update my headshot on our chamber website. That's a gem if anybody wants to check that one out. All right, so moving over to Bobbe Joy. So we know the importance of a headshot. So now coming to you, and what's the preparation like so then you can get that just amazing $1 million headshot?
You know, first of all, let me just talk for a second about hair, because I think hair is very important too. And a lot of times people come and, I don't like that helmet hair where you don't see anything moving in the hair. But, like you see on the news women on TV, where it looks like, like it's been sprayed within an inch of its life. But I think it's very important that you at least talk with your hairdresser or go get your hair done before you do a headshot, because you want to look like you care enough to take care of yourself and present yourself in a professional way. As far as makeup, I just want to say, going a little bit further on that, depending on how much lighting there is, that's how important makeup can be. Because sometimes people think they put a lot of makeup on, and then you're older and we want to put more light on you, and then it all just gets sucked out with the light. So it's finding a balance. And sometimes the photographer can help you, because you could come in looking a certain way and the photographer might say, in looking at through my camera, I think you need a little bit more eye makeup, or I think you need a little bit brighter lipstick. And I think you have to go with that, because that's what happens with the lighting. You can lose a lot of what you have. So I think that's really important. As we talked about the background, I'm getting kind of bored, seriously, with looking at the Zoom calls for the news, and all of the guys have books behind them because they all want to be taken seriously. And I get excited when I see one of the, like super brilliant guys talking in their kitchen, or something, because I feel like, it just isn't about that. And it gets boring after a while to just see that. That doesn't mean that I don't want to listen to what they have to say. I just would like to see something a little bit more interesting than a shelf full of books. So that's one thing. I think that if you are creative, I think that it's very important to have things, around you. Like you'll notice a lot of the women who are on CNN or MSNBC or whatever, they have flowers. You'll see flowers or plants or something. And it just adds a little bit of warmth, to the photograph or to the Zoom call. So you're not just looking at a blank wall. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that's great. It's funny you mentioned that because I was on early in this whole Zoom world that we're in. Noticed a lot of the women had plants in their background, and so brought that up, and it's like, yeah, plants just liven up the environment around you, and so even on a Zoom call, I think they have that effect. So that's funny that you mentioned it. So I was wondering, I haven't had a chance to read your book completely yet, but I'm excited to do so. But you mentioned that you have a few chapters discussing tips that you can do on your own. So not everybody might have the means to go out and have that total glam makeover, but
Exactly.
there's some tips you have to do something cost effectively.
Yes, and I also think that I segment it. So you can do the full on, you can do, just the kind of soft natural, you can do the 5-minute, I'm going outside, but I need to put something on kind of thing. So I have all different ways of doing this so that people don't feel like it's overwhelming. What I want to say that I think is very important for people to understand when they're looking at doing their makeup is that if you go on to YouTube these days and you look at even these 12-year-olds that are showing you how to do your makeup, that what they seem to do is erase the face, put on a lot of makeup, and then draw in a new face. And that's never been something that I like. I want to take the best of who you are and you want to present that. And that's how you want to do your makeup. You want to enhance what it is that you have. So that would be my most important thing, I think, when you're doing makeup is to understand that. So anyway, that's it, because you want to look like you, only better.
That's great. I like that. Don't change it, enhance it. So
yeah,
that's perfect. All right, Nikola, moving on over to you. So you've gotten glammed up, you have that perfect headshot, but a lot of times people don't understand then what do you do with those assets? So I know that's why they come to somebody like you to walk them through this process. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about, you have these assets, now what?
Yes, well, it depends on how you're acting, how you promote yourself on the internet. Is this like email blasts, email marketing, um, email signature, social media, banners? You want to even record a video, you want to have some intro and stuff like that. So just defining all the touch points, as I said, when you have ability or like potential to find your potential like new clients, you want to work on that field, you want to cover that, and you want to establish this relationship. And whether you're in entertainment industry or you're in a medical, whatever your field is, I think it's important for you, for oneself to find and feel comfortable how they want to present themselves. It could be like less formal, since I see that as like a new trend now during this COVID and the lockdowns and everything. But it's very important to like feel comfortable and just express yourself in a right way, and people will understand and see and feel the good energy that you're like radiating. So I think that's very important. So basically, the way you want to act, you want to cover all these territories in order to achieve better communication and spread the message to your audience.
Great. Okay. And so now everybody's kind of somewhat touched on it a little bit. I wonder if you can um, add to this. Is now everything's changed a little bit with the pandemic. So I think what you used to do for marketing yourself online or even in person has changed a bit because now we're all online. So what kind of trends have you seen in the digital space? And then where do you see it going? And where if you were going to invest some, time and effort into it, where would you put that?
I will go first. May I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you
Nikola, that's for you.
Yeah. So we can see a lot of like people like from financial industries. They're wearing suits and ties and everything, but then all of a sudden there is a kid in a room and a babysitter. So we got distractions, which I think now we're getting used to that, and people are like willing to accept it. And as I said, like as long as you're honest and you're feeling comfortable in the situation, because hey, if I'm working from home and I have kids, maybe some of the kids are going to just showed up in my screen. So I think less formal and less not a like corporate kind of style. I think that's something that we're all like going towards. Uh, yeah, so I see that as a trend. So it doesn't matter like how you're dressed. I think it's okay and it's good to look fine, to dress well. Again, depending what is your field, what is your industry, and who you're talking to. Some people are like, yes, I need a makeup. I need this kind of specific makeup because it's a morning meeting or it's a later afternoon and so on. So just depends what is your space, who are you talking to, what is your audience. Is okay to like even be less formal, if you will. And yeah, I think that's one of the trends, looking like less formal.
I think less formal, excuse me for interrupting, but I think less formal is great as long as you look like you didn't wake up and just walk into the other room and turn on the computer. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to look like you've made some sort of effort to come to the party.
Yeah, here is the thing that I want to point out that I think it's very important. You can have like the best headshot ever, best makeup, great presentation, everything. If you cannot deliver and
That's
or
right.
over deliver, it doesn't matter. As long now, what I see as a trend, I'm serving clients nationwide. For me personally, it's super important for my clients to feel like comfortable when they're working with me, meaning I'm like super fast in responding to their emails. When I see a text message, I'm responding as well. I'm more willing to even give, hey, I saw this, I'm going back to you, just to make them feel comfortable when they're working with the designer and gentleman. I think that's crucial. How am I dressed? Am I like, we're all busy, we're doing like sometimes like around the clock, but like serving or like providing like great service,
Right.
it's how you like actually build your brand, because this is like just an image. I just want to present myself, but in order to prove what I'm standing for, and that's really important. Like one of the things how you establish like a brand is consistency and developing like having a standard in all of your services, standard in like a high quality makeup, high quality like high end like photography or design and branding and stuff like that. So all these images and like promotion is just to get people interested. Hey, I want to hear this guy what he has to say. Now I'm having a makeup, okay, and I got like my cameras on me and everything. What are these people going to say, and if they're bringing value to my business, I'm going to reach them out. I like their energy and so on. So I think that's important as well. Where we are sitting, sometimes we're spontaneous, we even on the street, like working out or whatever, but like feeling comfortable and like delivering and servicing our client the way they deserve. I think it's crucial.
It's funny when I was doing makeup and there would be other makeup artists on the set, they looked like they just crawled out of a hole. And I thought to myself, if I were a person that was getting my makeup done, I would be a little bit off put by somebody who's coming at me who doesn't, who really didn't do one thing. Almost, they look like they brushed their teeth and that was it. And so, I don't think that you have to have a full face of makeup to do any of this. I'm just saying, I think you need to look like you care enough about yourself to put yourself together in some sort of way. So you're not, like I said, like you're not, crawling out of your bed in your pajamas and meeting everybody on Zoom.
Yeah.
That's all.
I thought I was the only one. I thought my profession was the only one, because we have so many photographers that just show up and they have like the bare minimum. You're like, oh, you're a professional photographer? So it's kind of interesting to hear that other industries are having the same issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great insight. I love that the idea that, part of your brand, or what a brand is really a standard. You start to establish, this is what you can expect from me and myself. So just want to go around, whoever wants to take this one first. Any closing words or anything that somebody said that you want to touch on, please feel free now to do that.
Oh, well, I'll go first. I definitely agree with Nikola about your picture is just the opening door, but you still have to follow through once they hire you and do your best.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that one of the things, as I said in the beginning, is how do you want people to see you and remember you? Not just the picture, but it's what you bring to the table afterwards. The picture is only the appetizer to the rest of the meal. So you have to carry that through so that people realize that you are a person of substance, that you care and whatever.
Yeah. Especially now when people or businesses like much more fragile in a way and financially like sensitive. People want to see like that kind of honest like approach, like I really know what I'm saying, I know what I'm doing, I can help you out, these are like my credentials or like best practices, this is what we have done so far for the similar like clients and so on. So yeah, building a relationship. Yeah, people will remember how they feel when they're with you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Such great advice all the way around. Well, thank you all so much for your insights. I again can't thank you enough for just taking the time to be here with us and adding this value to everybody. So at this point, we're going to open it up to questions. Please, we have 3 experts here, so please feel free to ask some questions. You can just unmute yourself and ask them. And then meanwhile, for our panelists, if you want to go ahead and drop your information into the chat on how to get a hold of you, please do that.
So I have a question. I guess for everybody, but maybe more towards Tamika. On LinkedIn, I know that a lot of different people have various backgrounds and approaches to their photo, whether it be, traditional headshot, or they're, in a work setting, or they're at the beach or whatever. I don't know. What do you feel resonates the best with people? Or do you have an opinion one way or the other on LinkedIn and what looks best on that platform?
To me, it just depends on the profession of the person that's getting their headshot taken. So for example, if you are a chef, you wouldn't want your headshot to be on the beach. Or if you are trying to think of something that's really contrasty. I would say like a daycare provider being in a kitchen. So just kind of lining up what you do with your background, that kind of thing.
Okay. I guess to follow up, I'm in an interesting spot. So I'm in wealth management, but on LinkedIn, I feel like connect with and resonate most with people in the sports industry.
Mm-hmm.
I had a division that works with athletes. So
Okay.
for me, it's a younger demographic, but I'm still in finance. So those are almost two kind of conflicting, um, I guess, appearances. What do
Mm-hmm.
you think when it comes to that?
So are you talking just specifically a headshot, or are you talking about like branding? Because if you're talking about branding, you can do pretty much anything. You can do like your traditional headshot, but then you can bring in things that you so sharing. You can post a picture, look at something with the core like that. A traditional headshot, if you're just doing social media where you just, hey, this is what I do in my free time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, I guess it
you
is
were
more of
cutting
a
out.
branding thing.
Yeah, so
Nico,
that
we were dealing with some technical difficulties. Can you say it again?
Yeah.
so I was just saying, as far as if it's something where you are doing branding, you can kind of incorporate like all of the aspects that you want your potential client to see. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just like the traditional background or like the books or something like that. It can be what you like doing in your free time as well.
Okay.
Okay, Connor, if I
Yep.
may add, like if you're in like finances, if you're in the finances and you're want to get more into like working with the younger people, think about like how you like combine like our Kinney Street and Wall Street. So let's say, just giving an example, let's say you're wearing a hoodie with like a bow tie, you know, just like professional, but with a twist for younger people, but a little bit serious. So try to combine these two worlds. So it's very interesting, like where these two worlds could meet, and you know, and again, if that is something that you know you can feel comfortable with, that would be great. So I would think like how the younger people see in 2020 25, like financial experts, like, you know, that would be interesting to see.
All right. Yeah. I appreciate the responses.
Yeah.
Yeah, great feedback.
Wow, all these professionals here at our disposal. This is, this is a blessing. I would ask. I mean, Bobby, you were talking a lot about makeup and, you know, just getting yourself done. Am I assuming you're just talking about women?
No,
No.
actually, no. But
I wanted
we
to
don't
ask
call
the
it
same
makeup,
question.
you know, for men. We kind of call it grooming. You know, sometimes it's trimming your eyebrows. Sometimes it's covering some dark circles under your eyes. Sometimes if you're very fair and you don't see, you know, any eyelashes or anything like that, we might put a little bit of mascara on the eyes, not to make you look like a girl or anything, but just to bring out your features. Because once you put that lighting on, you know, that could disappear too. So no, it isn't just men. And sometimes it's bronzer, you know, or covering up, you know, a dark spot or a pimple or something like that. Listen, I made up Paul Newman. I can make up you.
So, I mean, so the situation you're talking about is somebody getting ready to get their headshot done by Tamika, and, you know, come to see a makeup artist first and get groomed, and then going for that appointment.
Right. I think, Tamika, you probably have people that do that come to your studio that do that.
Yeah, I actually work with another makeup artist, and she does all of that good stuff to
Good.
get everybody count ready. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usually photographers have someone that they work with that's on call for them, that they just, you know, clean them up or whatever it is that they need, because the makeup artist then knows how Tamika works, and you know, can make the best photograph. I'm sure they do hair too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I was taking everything seriously that you were saying, Bobby, when you were talking about, if you're an attorney or something,
Yes.
how you appear, since I happen to be one.
And I'm
Um,
married to one.
Oh, uh, congrats.
Yeah. I don't
So,
know.
yeah. And so, I think about this a lot, especially in the age of Zoom and, meeting people online in a forum like this. If
Mhm.
I should be wearing, a button-down shirt, or even more than a button-down shirt. I mean, my friend Connor here, he looks sharp, right? So, you could dress up, to that level for everything that you do. To
What kind
me,
of law do you practice?
family law.
Family law.
Yeah, so generally I'm navigating men and women through the
Right.
legal divorce process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, would you base it on the kind of setting that you're talking about? Meaning, if I'm meeting a potential client over Zoom, that's one thing, but if I'm networking like this, it's another, or is this a branding thing, Nikola? And just Gabriel Wintner always wears a button-down shirt, period. Who knows? What would you suggest?
Nikola, he was
Anybody?
asking you.
Question for me.
Yeah.
As I said, like it's very interesting and it's very complex question because the audience getting more
Relaxed. I think.
relaxed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can say it, but the word that I'm searching for is like they're in a way expecting more. And I don't want to go too much like around the world, but back in 2004, we didn't have like social media. We didn't have like too much options like how we want to promote ourselves. But now we could split our persona, like brand persona, into um, um, different aspects and just communicate differently. For instance, you're not going to communicate or use the same language, just like on LinkedIn and on Instagram, right? So you're going
Sure.
to try to use like different tone and shape the way how you communicate. The same thing is how you're going to present yourself. So you can have like consistency, how you want to show up, or maybe you don't want to like have your face. If you're a face of your business, you want to take headshots and you want to promote yourself. But in other case, you can be even more creative. You can have like 2 or 3 versions of it, how you want to present yourself and express yourself in a different categories in order to like establish like a better um, uh, communication, with your audience. So it all depends on you, like what you want, and on the other hand, what your audience might expect. I don't know if I answered your question, if that is what you asked, but
Somewhat. I think the question for me is what does someone look for in a lawyer, in a family lawyer in particular? How would you want your family lawyer to look? You know
yeah,
what I mean? And let's say we're looking
yeah,
at Connor, how would I want my young wealth, asset manager to look?
yeah, Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah,
My personal, like professional, personal opinion,
sure.
uh, when I do like personal branding or like branding for startups or for like smaller companies, there is like big emotional aspect in all of that. Like this is what I want, this is how I want to look and so on. It's not about like just what is it that you want, but how people that you are working for or serving want you to look like. I
Right.
think since I'm in like creative industries, I think that like wearing suits and like we are like so serious about our business and we have books and all that we talked about, I think that's like last century. I got amazed seriously by like the professionals and the expertise that people are providing while working from their homes. I'm myself like I'm using lawyers and like attorneys for different stuff. So in that case, as we talk, like just image, like brand image is like opening the door for us, but what they can give me as a like service, if they understand my needs or what I want, am I feeling comfortable? Are they like responding to, are they responding to my emails? All of that. I think like more like friendly, professional, but like more like friendly approach is something that totally that might work. Again, it all depends where you at, who you want to work for, you know.
Sometimes I think it's nice if they wear, like just an open collared shirt and maybe a jacket or just a sport jacket or a sweater or something like that. I don't think that you're not in the office. You're in you're in a setting like your house or something like that. I don't think that you have to wear. I think that would be kind of weird if you were all dressed up in a suit and tie sitting in your house.
Full disclosure, I'm in the office, so you guys know.
Oh, you are? Okay.
So I'm not weird. I'm just in the office.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're in the office, but you're talking to people. They're not. Are they coming in and talking to you?
No, nobody's coming in.
Yeah.
But it's just part of our brand that we carried pre-COVID was you're in the office, you're doing business, you're wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah.
And I think for us in our industry, that's important, given the clientele that we carry throughout Beverly Hills and just the area, the people that actually come in and would see us. That's what they came to know and expect. But Jeff, so my boss, he takes calls from his house and he'll wear a shirt or, he won't be wearing a suit and tie because he is at home.
Right.
So I think that is to your point of, if you're in the office, it's different than if you're at home, because I think just putting a suit on and sitting in your living room would be a little weird.
I know, that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking.
I just want to let everybody know I'm not in my living room, but yeah.
And Gabriel, I'm not qualified to answer this by any means, but when I think of a family lawyer, I want to see somebody that's professional, but also approachable, because, I think people are going to come to you during difficult times for the most part. So you want to be somebody that's shows that you're welcoming and caring, but you're also going to represent them and their interests. So you want to make sure that you're somebody that you're going to take seriously and that's qualified to do so.
If I may add, like when I was living in Chicago, like a couple of years ago, I met people they were working in a bank. So we were talking about like social media, like how they're like promoting their business and so on. So they said, we are not interested in this platform because we don't want to go there because we are bankers, we are in a financial, like we are in finances and stuff. But I said, but people that are using this medium, like this social media, they're going to become your clients in like 2 years. So why would you like just, not going there and not use that as an opportunity? So what I'm saying, it's super like interesting, as Bobby mentioned, it will be like super cool to see someone in some new environment, new approach. Because like if you think about like the family, like a lawyer, like wearing a suit, maybe it would work for someone, but maybe I don't know, I don't have like experience like with that, how that relationship works, but maybe people would, like as Nick says, want to find someone who is like approachable, like warm, more like a friend who understands what they want and how to help them out. Not necessarily suit is not going to sell himself, or it's just
agreed.
I also think it's a younger mentality too. With all the social media and everything, I just think it's a younger mentality. I mean, in my generation, you wore a suit and tie, but I don't think now that people expect it. I mean, in the younger ages, expect you to be in a suit and tie to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, for me, as far as like the men that I'm photographing, a lot of them are just wearing the jacket and the shirt, but not a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's sounding to me. That's the way I would lean based on everything I'm hearing. Yeah. It's been very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're supposed to have a networking portion afterwards as well. So I think if we just want to go around, Connor, if you want to introduce yourself, and I like one of the questions that I was like told, oh, this is a good question to ask people when you're networking is, what would be a good referral to you?
Okay. Yeah. So Connor Brumfield, I'm with Runyon Capital in Beverly Hills. We're at the corner of Rexford and Wilshire, our investment and wealth management firm. I've joined in September of 2019, but the office has been around for over 10 years. Lead advisor is Jeff Runyon. He's been a member of the chamber for quite a few years. I don't know if you guys know him or not. Yeah. And I would say a ideal referral outside of the professional athletes that I work with. We handle a lot of high net worth lawyers, doctors, dentists, but we also have a division of our office, Invested Women, that deals with women that are head of the household, either a divorcee, widowed, single, or same-sex marriage or partnership. And we feel that we relate well and can help that demographic out well. So I would say anyone that falls under that would be ideal for us.
Very cool. Thank you. And Gabriel, how about for you?
Sure. So I'm a family lawyer. I have my own law practice, and I navigate men and women through the legal divorce process generally. Also, sometimes prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, and sometimes it's post-divorce. It's post-divorce renegotiations of custody or child or spousal support orders. And I'm also a mediator. So sometimes what I like to do is to offer to people all the different modalities, the ways to go through this process. And depending on how contentious it is, how amicable it is, how focused on making sure that they have a long-term functional relationship with their ex, especially when there are children, that informs how you want to go through this process. You might, obliterate your opponent and come out with an extra, 50 grand or 100 grand, and not have a working relationship so that you can never be in the same room again, which may not serve you in the long run. So it's my job to, open my clients' eyes to things like that and offer them options constantly and take things one step at a time.
Yeah, thank you. And Tamika, we know who you are now, but do you want to just tell us what an ideal referral would be for you?
A great referral for me would definitely be someone who hasn't had their headshot taken in a while, or if you are one of the unlucky few who have taken a photo that you like, but you just cut out all the other people on the side, so your photo is the one that's in focus. So yeah, if that is someone you know or you potentially, definitely reach out and give me a call.
Very good. And Bobbe Joy, I don't know, do you do any private styling?
No, I don't, but I have access to lots of different people if anybody's interested. And also on my website, I have some people that are, my favorites or people that I think, people could go to. Yeah, I mean, I think almost 51 years of doing it. I think I'm done. And, but I'll be very helpful if anybody needs any information about anything having to do with, getting their makeup done, their hair done, whatever. Okay, or fashion, a stylist, somebody that can help you that way. I have access to all of them.
Yeah, just to say, Bobbe Joy has been a member of our board. I don't even know how long you've been a member of the board for.
At least 13, probably 13. Oh, the board? Oh, I don't know. Oh, the board, yeah, maybe 12 years, something like that.
And just a pillar of the community, so just a great resource for the chamber. So I would highly recommend, if you have anything, to shoot it over her way, because you probably know somebody that does that or can help you with that. And then how about for you, Nikola? Who can we send over your way?
Yeah. I've been serving like small companies, startups, medium-sized companies, and enterprises. What was interesting about personal branding, 3 years ago, a member of Chicago Bulls, the NBA player Nikola Vucicevic, got into some kind of like, he's got a situation with Bobby Portis. He's got injured, and we didn't know if he's going to get back to the game and so on. So he approached to me and he asked me for personal branding. There was a lot of pressure from the media. People wanted to hear him out, like what he wanted to say. So we, instead of like talking with media, and we just established his personal brand, building a logo, tagline, great website, which is like his official statement. So working with this like competitive athlete and few more clients in that space, that's like super cool. So basically we're serving both companies and people who wants to stand out, and we created like 3 divisions in our company who is that are covering, they're having different experts, and we are serving clients in the different stages of their business.
Okay, well, very cool.
Nick,
yeah.
Nick,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I had asked you before we started about the background, and maybe you could tell people who don't, who want to put up something other than, their bathroom or their bedroom or whatever, that maybe they could do something like what you do, because I think it's great.
Yeah, it's Zoom allows you, and doesn't actually allow everybody. You have to have a certain computer, because I know our computers at work don't have that ability. So it's really the computer that dictates it. But you have the ability with Zoom to upload different backgrounds to your screen. Yeah, there you go, Connor. Nice.
Go Dodgers.
Dodger Stadium. Okay. What'd you have in?
God, how great.
What I have what, Nick?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking at your LinkedIn. The LinkedIn background was it that Coors Field?
On LinkedIn? Oh, shoot, let me see.
But it's
What do you
a
think
great
the
option.
headshot though? Huh?
But it's a great option, like Bobbe Joy said. If you have,
Yeah,
I just have some really basic shutters behind me that are not very inspiring at all. So I just like the brightness of this photo, and it gives a little bit of that Beverly Hills feel to it, which I think people miss.
Ooh, Gabriel's looking good with the books. I
Yeah.
trust you way more now.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't you? I read all those books, all those
Oh, look
virtual
at
books.
that.
This morning.
Yeah, I did. What really throws me off is when people have a Zoom background of a room, let's say as I just did, a few moments ago, and the perspective is off. For them to be, the way that their head is framed against the background, they would have to be sitting on the floor, or kind of something. It just seems the whole perspective is skewed. So I think if you're going to choose a background, it should kind of, sort of, even if people can tell that it's virtual because, there's virtual sparkles around your frame, still, it shouldn't be jarring, I think. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Definitely great advice. All right. Well, I think we can probably call it a wrap then, if everybody knows each other. If you want to throw in, I know our speakers threw in their contact information, but if Connor, Gabriel, if you want to throw in your contact information, it'd be good. And
Sure.
Thank you again.